We were in France where President Macron did a fantastic job with the cathedral. We had about 80 world leaders, different countries, and they were all coming together. They all wanted to meet us and meet me as representative of the U.S. I was even thinking about inviting certain people to the inauguration, and some people said, wow, that's a little risky, isn't it? And I said, maybe it is. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But we like to take little chances.
All right. Joining us now, dear friend, General Keith Kellogg, who has been appointed Mr. Trump's Ukraine peace envoy. Keith, wonderful to see you, and congrats on the new position. If anybody can do that, you can. Keith Kellogg, Xi Jinping, has President actually formally invited Xi Jinping yet to the inauguration, and has she accepted?
Well, Larry, good to be with you. I don't know. I'm not sure who's been invited to the inauguration yet, but it would be brilliant if he did something like that. You know, when you look back on inaugurations, no foreign leaders have even come. I know they didn't come for Obama, and they didn't come earlier for Biden as well. And I think it'd be brilliant to bring in your biggest economic adversary and bring him into the inauguration. I think it'd be really smart to do that. I just, you know, one thing with President Trump, he really does think out of the box, and this would be one of those out of the box thinkings that he's done. And I think it'd be pretty brilliant to do that. That brings somebody like the Chinese in. But you know, when you mentioned Paris a minute ago, you know, here we have a president striding the stage, the world stage, as he is, as an American president should. You know, you stride without fear and you represent America. And President-elect Trump showed that when he went to Paris. And it makes you just feel good.
Yes, I agree with this. General Kellogg, let me just continue this guest list conversation we're having. Would you advocate inviting Putin and Zelensky, and then after the inaugural, sitting down with them and talking, or the next couple days, sitting down with them in Washington, D.C., not in Europe someplace, right here in Washington, D.C., and try to hammer out a deal?
Yeah, you know, Larry, anything that President Trump does, President Trump plays, you know, three-level chess, and it wouldn't surprise me if he did something like that. Could he do it? Of course he could do it. He could make such a bold move. But when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, I really do believe this is going to get solved within the next few months, because he's the only person who can do that is President Donald J. Trump, and he will do it. They're tired of killing each other over there. This is time, as the president said in September when Zelensky came to Trump Tower, and I think he can pull it off. And, you know, the optics of somebody inviting people like that is really pretty good. So I would put it this way. I would not put anything beyond the realm of the possible that he would do that. And it wouldn't surprise me, because President Donald J. Trump, and you know this from being there, he thinks at levels that we just look at sometimes in astonishment. And it works. And it works because he plays off instinct. He kind of knows people. He knows how people react. I just think this is going to be an exciting 4 years with President Donald J. Trump, and I think the world better get ready for it. And something like that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Keith Kellogg, are you planning a trip to Europe? Are you planning a trip to either Russia or Ukraine?
Yeah, we're putting together some plans to actually go out and just listen, and because we're, you know, obviously there's only one government at a time, and you know, you don't want to run afoul of the Logan Act, and we understand that, but it doesn't hurt to listen to people, not negotiate because we're not part of the government yet, but actually to listen to these people. And we're aggressively looking at the calendars, looking to do this in the near term, and to make sure that we've got the right elements to present to President Trump, so President Trump will make the decision what he wants to do. He's the President of the United States. We're not. He is, and we are basically his emissaries to make sure that we fulfill what he wants to do for the American people. And you made the comment about people getting ahead of their skis. We don't want to do that. You know, you never want to get too far ahead of your skis, you fall over. There's no intention to do that. We know who the president-elect is. We know who the president's going to be, and it's his call to do it. And our job is just to help facilitate him getting out to be successful for the American people. And we're going to do that. We're going to bring this war in Europe to a close, a successful close for the American people as well.
Keith, let's just move it for a moment to the Middle East. The conversation, it is now being reported Hamas, or whoever Hamas is, a group of people, they are more amenable to Israeli troops and forces in Gaza. And it also has been reported that Hamas has given over a list of the hostages, perhaps 5 of whom are still American hostages. I hope they're still alive, God knows, and the rest. What can you tell us there? Have they given over a hostage list, number one? And is there any significant progress on that front?
Well, I think the progress is that the president-elect said they'd better be released by the inauguration date. And he's absolutely right. I can't believe it's been over a year, and we haven't gotten those hostages, the American hostages, home. I mean, this is one of those, right at the start, we should have told the remaining Hamas leadership, you know, if you don't get the Americans released, you don't bring them home, you're going to see Joint Special Operations Command out of Fort Bragg, North Bragg, North Carolina, into the fight. And he said that, and all of a sudden they're going, oh, yeah, well, we're going to give you the list. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get them home. I hope they're still alive. We don't know. But I think that the president made that declaration quite clear. You know, I go back to what he said in the State of the Union in 2020 when he said, if you attack an American, he didn't say kill. He said, if you attack an American, your life is forfeit. Well, he's repeated that kind of statement, and the entire world is picking up on it. Hamas is picking up on it. And that's the reason they're saying, well, okay, here's the names, here's where they're at, here's what's happened to them. We know that at least one American has since perished since they took them as hostages, and I hope the rest are still alive. We don't know. We won't know until they're released. But it's very clear they know who the president is. This kind of reminds me a little bit of what happened with the Iranian hostages when they were released the same day of the inauguration with President Ronald Reagan. Kind of the same thing's happening right now. They know who's going to stride the world stage. And that's who's striding the world stage is President Donald J. Trump. And I think the world knows that.
God bless, Keith Kellogg. Thank you very much.